Crystal Castles was one of the most influential electronic bands to emerge in the mid-2000s, known for their chaotic live performances, distorted sound, and melancholic production. On stage, they embodied raw energy and rebellion. But behind the scenes, the story was far from the electrifying spectacle their fans adored. A man abused and preyed upon a young girl for years, his actions hidden until 2017, though it all began in December 2004.
Each show was a disaster, and I'm really not sure why we're back. Every show went wrong in its own way. 2 shows we were kicked out of because of underage drinking.
It was during a service event for the visually impaired that Claudio Palmieri, known publicly as Ethan Cath, first met Margaret Osborne, better known as Alice Glass. What seemed like an ordinary meeting soon raised concerns due to their significant age difference. Alice was just 15, while Ethan was 25. At the time, Ethan was already an established figure in the Toronto music scene, having performed with his earlier band, Kill Cheerleader, and made several television appearances. After their meeting, Ethan invited Alice to record vocals for a track he had been working on since 2003. Alice agreed, and together they released their first song, Alice Practice. The track, posted online, quickly drew attention for its abrasive, experimental sound, and Alice's piercing, emotional screams layered over glitchy beats. The response was overwhelming. Fans were captivated by its rawness and unpredictability. Encouraged by the sudden attention, the duo formally released Alice Practice in 2006 as a limited edition vinyl with only 500 copies printed. To their surprise, the record sold out within 3 days. Around this time, the British teen drama Skins featured their music, giving Crystal Castles significant exposure among young audiences. The Alice Practice EP cover, an edited image of Madonna with a black eye, added to its mystique and controversy. The EP's resale value skyrocketed, selling for as much as $240 to $280 on online marketplaces. Ethan's vision of abrasive, confrontational sound.
With our British fans, they're really nice and sweet to us, and we appreciate everyone's.
Driven by Alice's screams over distorted synths, propelled Crystal Castles to the forefront of the electronic underground scene. But behind the fame, their working relationship was far from ideal. In 2008, the Stool Pigeon magazine published an article that began to expose the darker side of Crystal Castles. It stated Alice may dominate the duo's live shows, but offstage, control freak Ethan is the paranoid king of Canada's Crystal Castles. The piece raised questions about the duo's dynamic, particularly the power imbalance between the two. At the time of the article, Ethan was 27 and Alice was only 18, highlighting the concerning control Ethan held over his much younger bandmate. The article had raised questions about the dynamics within Crystal Castles, drawing attention to the uncomfortable age gap between Alice Glass and Ethan Cath. It subtly hinted that something behind the scenes wasn't right. Initially, the public didn't pay much attention. While a few fans expressed concern, most dismissed it as mere speculation. The band continued to rise rapidly, releasing 3 critically acclaimed albums and gaining a massive international following. But everything changed on October 8, 2014, when Alice Glass made a shocking announcement that sent waves across the music industry. In a public statement posted online, she wrote, "I am leaving Crystal Castles. My art and my self-expression in any form has always been an attempt towards sincerity, honesty, and empathy for others. For a multitude of reasons, both professional and personal, I no longer feel that this is possible within CC. Although this is the end of the band, I hope my fans will embrace me as a solo artist in the same way they have embraced Crystal Castles." Her departure stunned fans worldwide. Many found it strange that Alice, the face and voice of the band, would walk away just as they were reaching their peak.
I'm gonna be taking over Rage. Yay.
The earlier reports and rumors about tension within the band suddenly seemed more credible. People began to wonder what might have been happening behind closed doors. Less than 6 months after her exit, Ethan Cath released a new Crystal Castle single titled Frail, introducing Edith Francis as the new vocalist. But this quick replacement felt jarring to fans who were still processing Alice's sudden departure. When Cath posted the track online, he captioned it, "Wishing well for Glass," but she didn't feature on the best tracks of Crystal Castles. The message appeared dismissive and passive-aggressive, undermining Alice's immense contribution to the band's success. The caption was quietly deleted within a day, but by then screenshots had already circulated online. Alice, however, did not remain silent. She addressed the issue directly, calling Ethan manipulative and emphasizing how instrumental she had been in building the band's identity and sound.
And a bunch of other weirdos, so tune in then.
Her statements resonated with many fans, who began to view her as the creative heart of Crystal Castles rather than just a performer. A year later, Ethan released the band's first full album without Alice. While it received moderate attention, the aura surrounding Crystal Castles had undeniably changed. Around this time, the band was invited to perform at South by Southwest during a Tumblr-organized event highlighting income disparity among women. Tickets were priced at just 79 cents, symbolizing the wage gap between genders. The announcement immediately sparked controversy when Alice Glass publicly condemned Ethan's inclusion.
Tracks from the past, it's not really an album.
Arguing that he should not be performing at a feminist-themed event given his past behavior and alleged treatment of women. Her statement reignited debate within the music community. Shortly afterward, Crystal Castles was removed from the event lineup. While some dismissed it as a standard lineup change, others viewed it as a significant moment of reckoning, a public acknowledgement of the ethical concerns surrounding Ethan's actions. Alice's revelations turned Crystal Castle's legacy from one of innovation to a cautionary tale of control, exploitation, and the fight for artistic freedom. In October 2017, Alice Glass publicly disclosed her experiences of physical and emotional abuse by Ethan Cath. On her official website, aliceglass.com/cc, she revealed the dark truth about her time with him. In her statement, Alice detailed years of manipulation, control, and abuse, marking a turning point in her journey toward healing and speaking out against her abuser. In the first of the 2 paragraphs, she wrote that only a few people already knew how long she had been suffering as a member of Crystal Castles. She mentioned that she had been afraid to tell the world what had really happened to her, but after seeing many women come forward to speak about their own suffering, she found hope and courage. Now, she felt ready to tell the world how she had been abused. She wrote, "I met Ethan Cath, Claudio Palmieri, when I was in the 10th grade. The first time he took advantage of me was when I was around 15. He was 10 years older than me. I came to in the back of his car extremely intoxicated from drinks he had given me that night. We didn't talk for months after that. He went to great lengths to find me again, stalking me and driving past my high school looking for me. He tracked me down and showed up places I was hanging out, and we eventually reconnected. I was very young and naive and in a compromised position in my life. I perceived him as a local rock star because I had seen his band Kill Cheerleader on TV. She stated that she had also seen some of her friends involved with older men, so such situations seemed normal to her at the time. She then described the manipulative behavior of Ethan Cath. As she wrote, "Ethan was very manipulative towards me. He figured out my insecurities and exploited them. He used the things he learned about me against me. Over a period of many months, he gave me drugs and alcohol and had sex with me in an abandoned room at an apartment he managed. It wasn't always consensual, and he remained sober whenever we were together. This was only the beginning of what she suffered." She wrote that during the recording of Alice Practice, the sound engineer actually assaulted her, and Ethan told her to go along with it. She stated that Ethan later told the press that the recording of Alice Practice was accidental, which made her sad because it diminished her role in the band's success. Ethan also insisted that Alice drop out of school when she was just 2 credits away from graduating. As their fan base began to grow into what they had always dreamed of, Ethan became increasingly controlling, deciding what Alice should wear and what she was allowed to say. Then she later wrote in her paragraphs that he became physically abusive. He held me over a staircase and threatened to throw me down it. He picked me up over his shoulders and threw me onto concrete. He took pictures of my bruises and posted them online. I tried to leave, and he swore that it would never happen again, and that he would never physically abuse me again. More severe psychological and emotional abuse took its place. He controlled everything I did. I wasn't allowed to have my own phone or my own credit card. He decided who my friends were, read through my private emails, restricted my access to social media, regulated everything I ate. He berated me and yelled at me, telling me that I was a joke, that all the people that came to our shows were only interested in his instrumentals, and that I was ruining the band. He broke glass shower doors to frighten me. He locked me into rooms. He told me that my feminism made me a target for rapists, and only he could protect me. He forced me to have sex with him, or, he said, I wouldn't be allowed to be in the band anymore. Her life had become miserable, and her misery was reflected in the lyrics of her songs. She hid all of this in order to not destroy the band. Ethan was overly protective and controlling towards her, often telling her that he was looking for a new vocalist, something that kept Alice and her insecurities constantly on the edge. She also revealed that she had been suicidal for years. Then she wrote in the final paragraph that leaving Crystal Castles was the single most difficult decision I ever made. That band was everything to me. My music, my performances, and my fans were all I had in the world. I gave that up and started over not because I wanted to, but because I had to. As difficult as it was, I knew that leaving was one of the best decisions I've ever made. It has taken me years to recover from enduring almost a decade of abuse, manipulation, and psychological control. I am still recovering. This entire confession reveals how Ethan Kath manipulated and controlled Alice Glass from a very young age, taking advantage of her innocence and ultimately causing deep harm. In response to Alice's statement, Ethan Kath denied the allegations, saying, I am outraged and hurt by the recent statements made by Alice. Her story is pure fiction. Kath later filed a defamation lawsuit against Alice, which was ultimately dismissed by the court. In December 2017, a police investigation was launched in Toronto, officially linking Ethan Kath to the assaults against Alice. In an interview with the Daily Beast, Alice and 4 other women came forward, sharing their own experiences of how Ethan had preyed upon them. As a result of these revelations and the ensuing controversy, the new Crystal Castles project has remained inactive to this day, a direct consequence of Ethan Kath's abusive actions.